Hey everybody, welcome back to Mighty Modern, and it's really Mighty Modern this time. If you missed it last week, I did some standard videos, some mining standard, if you will, of the Sultai Reanimator deck that went around. It was really cool, so make sure you check those out if you haven't. But we're back now, Mighty Modern, normal Mondays here, and this deck, I think believe it did well at a Modern Challenge recently, and it's a really cool twist on the Green Devotion deck that's always been on like the super fringe of Modern. And that's a deck I actually have on my list to get to at some point. The idea is to make a bunch of mana, cast Tooth and Nail, get Emrakul, Xenagos, give it haste. It's pretty good stuff, really. But this one did well, so this is what we're going with. Now, the engine is very much the same. We have a lot of mana dorks. Birds of Paradise, Arbor Elf. We also have Utopia Sprawl and Fertile Ground, which make mana and aren't creatures. So one of the coolest things you can do with the deck is play a turn 1 Arbor Elf on your land, or on the board. And then on turn 2, you play a second land, put a Utopia Sprawl on the untapped land. Then you can tap that land, it'll make 2 mana. You can untap with Arbor Elf, make 2 more mana, and have 4 mana on turn 2, which is very, very good, as you might have guessed. So you can do a lot of stuff with that. You can play Garruk Wildspeaker and continue to go off even more. You can play the one of Kiora in here, which does a lot of cool stuff. You can play Gifts Ungiven, and this is really what this deck is. It's Gifts Ungiven deck with this Devotion engine, and that means that you get the natural combo of Unburial Rites and one of your finishers. So what this deck does is it is able to power out one of these 2 creatures from the graveyard, either your Emrakul the Promise End, which is really fun to cast, obviously, but Elesh Norn is pretty good on the board as well. Besides that, you can also just maybe get a value pile with gifts, and you have cool stuff like Primal Command in your deck. And Primal Command itself forms a loop with Eternal Witness, where you can put a non-creature permanent on top of their deck and get a creature out of your library. That creature will be Eternal Witness. You play Eternal Witness, you bring back the Primal Command, get it, and then you do the same thing. And you have 2 Eternal Witnesses to make it happen. Pretty solid stuff all around. It's a nice combo, and it can really slow people down. Other than that, another final piece of ramp is Wood Elves. You saw the gifts. Sphinx of Lost Truth is in this list. It's a pretty good one. It helps you refill. It can loot through stuff you don't need. Helps with Delirium for casting Emrakul the hard way, which you can search out, of course, with your Primal Command. Then we have Thragtusk, Acidic Slime, general good stuff. Now on the sideboard here, now I do need to make one change here, which is to remove one of these dispels to include an Iona. All right, now we're good. So the sideboard kind of breaks down into 2 ways here. We have the normal sideboard cards of Dispel, Nihil Spellbomb, Rest in Peace, Stony Silence, for their respective matchups, of course, where it would be good. But then you have your reanimation targets, and that is Terastodon, great against, Ensnaring Bridge, stuff like that you're going to have to deal with, just generally a good card. Iona, to keep them from casting spells. If you're playing against a mono blue deck, a mono red deck, etc., you can keep them from playing their relevant spells by reanimating Iona. Sigarda, Host of Herons, this is for the Eldrazi Tron matchup. He'll be boarding in or keeping in all his dust, which wrecks you. So Sigarda actually very important for that matchup. And then this was a little spice of my own here, Imperial Archangel. Now I like this both against burn, but also against just aggro decks in general, because it has Shroud, it's a 5/8 flyer, and all damage will be dealt to you is dealt to Imperial Archangel instead. Now if you're keeping your opponent's board sort of clear, but they still have some stuff, your Elesh Norn hasn't got there yet, so on, Imperial Archangel will really soak it all up. It has Shroud, and it's a 5/8 flyer. Pretty sick. And it keeps them from, yeah, you have Elesh Norn, but then they have 2 burn spells to finish you off. And, it's pretty great in that situation. So Imperial Archangel, nice piece of tech there. So that's the deck, Green Devotion Gifts. It's pretty fun. I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. So thank you for watching Mighty Modern, and let's take it into the queues and see how we do.